Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen, the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. Let me start with my schedule. This weekend is my makeup week. I'm back in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Helium Comedy Club. So if you were there to see me 3 weeks ago and I'd postpone it, I thought I had to cancel it, but it's just postponed. I'll be back this week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Let me get the exact dates. August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then the week after that, August 11th, 12th, 13th, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky at the Louisville Comedy Club. First time there. I think it's a brand new club. And then August 18th through the 20th, I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina, the Comedy Zone. And then September 1 to 3, I'm in Indianapolis at Helium Comedy Club. Then September 8th through the 10th, I'm in Buffalo, New York at Helium Comedy Club. I'm in a lot of Heliums, clearly. So I had Ali Sadiq on last week. Man, we got some good numbers. One of the clips we did 6.5 mil on TikTok. Because I think when you get somebody talking about prison stories, it's interesting to people, especially to me, when you're talking about prison, because it's a segment of society that I don't get to see and I don't know a lot about. So it's like you're kind of pulling back the curtain. Just like with comedians, I think why comedians doing podcasts do well is because you're peeling back the curtain of what it's like to be a comedian day in and day out. It's not just all jokes. Now, people go to comedian podcasts for the jokes and the laugh, but you're also like, oh, this is what it's really like. Like, oh, I didn't think about that. You know, missing holidays and functions, and you're having a bad day, but you still got to make people laugh and things of that nature. So, I think when Ali tells his prison stories, and he's such a good storyteller, and their stories are so vivid, you're like, oh, like when he was talking when I asked him about the racial dynamics and the getting beat up and then having to see that guy every day. Oh, that to me would be the worst, to get beat up or violated in prison, and then you got to see that person every day, like see the person that violated you, or beat your ass. You can't just disappear. You can't move. It's almost like when you're growing up and you go to school and you see two guys get in a fight, and then I remember I was in 8th grade and there was a kid. He was a bully, and the bad part about this kid, he was a bully and he got held back. And it's the first time in life I'd seen a bully lose his mystique of being a badass, because I'll never forget. I got off the bus. I was in 8th grade. So this guy, when I got to my junior high in 7th grade, he was in 8th. And then I got to 8th, he was still in 8th. So he got held back. So he was fighting this guy named Tony. It was John and Tony. I'm not going to give last names out. But John was the bully, and Tony he's a good athlete at our school. Didn't get in a lot of fights. Tony was a cool dude. And for some reason, before the bell rang, John and Tony was in the hallway right when you walk into our school, face to face, just talking back and forth. Do something. You do something. I ain't scared of you. I ain't scared of you. Going back and forth, back and forth. And then we had this kid named Teddy. Teddy gets off the bus after John and Tony have been going face up for about 10 minutes. And it's getting close to the bell getting rung to start school starting. And I'm talking, at this point, there had to be 80 people surrounding them. It was like out of one of the movies. And all of a sudden, Teddy gets off the bus. He walks in. He gets next to John and Tony, and he says something funny. And Teddy was kind of a jokester, and everybody started laughing. And John, the bully, said something to Teddy like, "Hey, man, you might as well back up or something, right?" And I'll never forget, he put his hand on Teddy's chest and tried to push him back a little bit, and Teddy went, beep, hit him right here. And John, back then, all the guys had the hair that was parted down the middle and feathered back. And I remember John had that long hair, and his entire hair just went, and then it was in front of his face. So now John had to do his head back like this, and Teddy got in his face with his fist. I just remember his fist was clenched and was saying something like, man, don't you ever motherfucker touch me, bitch. It was going in, and John just sat there. Teddy walked away, and all 80 students followed Teddy. It was like the Pied Piper. We couldn't believe that he hit John. And John was a little bigger than everybody else, too, because he was a year older. And I just remember, Tony was upset because he's like, I should have did that. I could have hit him with the one-hitter quitter and taken the mystique. When I tell you John was no longer a bully, his bullying days was over. He never bullied anybody again the rest of his life. And I, honest to God, I'll never forget, when I got to 7th grade, John was in my math class. Why was he in 8th and I was in 7th? He was in my math class. I don't know. But I just remember I just wasn't scared of him anymore. He was kind of intimidating, and I was like a late bloomer. So I was, hadn't hit puberty yet. There was no hair popping off on the arms of the ball sack. So I was just like, I was a little kid, and I was scared of him. The second Teddy hit that dude, and he lost all his mystique of being a bully, I was no longer scared of John. He wasn't even a dick anymore. He was like just quiet. But I'd never seen it firsthand happen that a bully, the school bully, got. And think about my school. We didn't have like John. It was crazy too. Was John and Tony were white dudes. Teddy was a black dude. Teddy came from a boys' home. So anytime kids got in trouble in Cincinnati or the outskirt areas, we had a boys' home at my school. My school was like 45 minutes outside of Cincinnati. So we'd have these guys that go to my school, and they'd only be there for like a year or two, and then they go back home or go back to their school district. And Teddy was one of those kids. He was in and out. He'd be at my school, then he wouldn't be at our school, then he'd be at my school. I don't know what his backstory was, but he was at the boys' home a lot. And so Teddy, when he hit John, it was like, looking back on it, Teddy was not the one, because I don't know what Teddy's backstory was. Being from a boys' home, clearly his home life probably wasn't the greatest. And John was no longer a bully. That's the first time I seen it. So, that had to suck, because that was when Ali was telling us stories about the prisoners and how you can get beat up and they're going to talk smack to you and stuff. I was like, that story this past week I was thinking of, do I have anything that could relate to that story at all? And that's the one that popped in my brain, was when Teddy sucker punched John. And it was funny because him and Tony sat there for like 10 minutes before school started, just in each other's face. Do something, do something. Teddy came in, bip! And I never in my life seen an entire, it was like LeBron walking through your school. We were just following Teddy, and guys were yelling and talking. I can't believe it. Teddy hit John. Teddy hit John. And I just remember John just faded into oblivion, was no longer a bully. So, yeah, I think that's why those prison stories with Ali is they're real, they're not made up, and they're authentic. So, it's like I said, it's interesting. That's why whenever I see Lock Up Raw or TV shows like Oz or in these prison movies, I'll watch them. What was it? Was American Me was a good one. Bad Boys, not the one with Will Smith and Martin. There was another Bad Boys before that. You know what? I'm going to give that movie review next week because, last week I had Ali on. I didn't do a movie review, but with football season being back, I was, last week was a little touchy. Joe Burrow went down, and I'll never forget. I was with some friends, and they looked at me and they said, "What's wrong?" And all I got was the notification on my phone. Joe Burrow gets carted off the field with an apparent leg injury. I said, "You got to be kidding me!" And then when I saw it, I was like, "Is that an Achilles? What is that?" Because it was non-contact, and then it comes to find out it's a calf strain. And I remember I texted everyone I know within the organization. And I was like, how is he? How is he? And everybody said the same thing. He's good. 2 to 3 weeks. Going to bring him back slow. But this is what I know. Joe Burrow's not touching that field until he gets that contract. I know that. I thought it'd be done already. Hopefully, it'll be done this week. But I was just like, woohoo. Man, it basically ruined my week. That day, everyone, I swear I was with a bunch of people. They was like, what's wrong, bro? I was like, yo. I said, this can't happen again. Because I remember when the Bengals got Kejana Carter. I was so excited. He went down. I remember when the Bengals played the Steelers in the playoffs in 2005. Carson Palmer throws that dime to Chris Henry. His knee, he went down. 2015, we're having the best season we've had before Joe Burrow got there. Andy Dalton gets hurt against the Steelers. It's like, you got to be kidding me. This is not happening. So you guys just calf strain. So I know Joe Burrow is all about reps and wanting to get timing down with the receivers. Just take your time, bro. Please relax. We don't want to see you on the field. We don't want to see it during preseason. We're going to give a big dose of Trevor Siemian and some other guys that'll probably be high school football coaches pretty soon. But I don't want to see Joe Burrow on the football field in this preseason. So I was thinking about it. I was talking to some people once we knew Joe Burrow was okay. I was having this discussion about the best football movie of all time. And I can't believe some people say The Program. Because I'm like, that was kind of, it was good, but it's kind of like almost TV-ish. A little too much movie magic. Any Given Sunday was good, but even that was sensationalizing a lot of stuff. Like, if you just go off, like, authentic, hardcore football movie, I mean, Remember the Titans is hard to beat. I remember I did a game show with Donald Faison, who was he was Petey in the movie. He started out as he was on offense, and then they moved him to DB. Took Ryan Gosling's spot in the movie. But that movie was really good because it's one of the movies every time it comes on, you can't turn it off. It's that good. But there's another one that I think if you want to go like anybody that's played high school football and just authentic and raw, All the Right Moves. It's a Tom Cruise movie. Came out in like the early 80s. Let me see. Let me give the exact year. But it's like this Pittsburgh steel mill towns. If you haven't seen All the Right Moves and you like football, to me that's probably the best just at the core. I think Remember the Titans is probably a little better just entertainment purposes. You can't go wrong with Denzel. And it's a true story and just the cast was so ahead of its time. Like Wood Harris, Ryan Gosling, I'm drawing a blank. There's just so many good people in that movie. But All the Right Moves, I'm going to put in what year they come out. Anybody that's played high school football. It's so raw. 1983. Oh, here's what it says about it. An ambitious young football star is trapped in a dying mill town unless his gridiron skills can win him a way out. I mean, it's got Craig T. Nelson, Leah Thompson, Sean Penn's brothers in it. Chris Penn, rest in peace. Where's Leon? Just Leon from the Five Heartbeats. I mean, that movie, man, if you just look at, like, if anybody's played high school football, the way they are in the locker room, leading up to a game, trying to get a scholarship. And me growing up in a small town, in Ohio, in the Midwest, not Pennsylvania, not a steel mill town, but a small town, knowing, like, you can get stuck in that rut of never leaving your small town. The only way out is football. And, like, at one point, Chris Penn, he's a star middle linebacker, is supposed to go to Penn State or USC to play football. And he makes this announcement, I'm going to go to Southern Cal. And then his girl gets pregnant, and he's like, I'm not going. I'm not playing football, man. I'm going to be a dad. I got to stay here. I'm going to work in the mill. I was like, oh, my God. I've seen it so many times being from a small town. I was like, oh. We had a guy, man, when I was growing up, I was at an era of my high school where, sorry, I feel like right now I feel like I feel like Al Bundy, just remembering the glory days. But, man, my high school, like my junior and senior year, we had such a good team. We were such a small school, and we had no business beating some of the teams we beat. But we just had a group of the grade ahead of us. So when I was a junior, the senior class, and then the sophomore and freshman class. Those three classes, my class kind of sucked. I ain't gonna lie. We kind of sucked. But the class in front of us and the two classes behind us, they were so good. And there was one running back, man. His name was David Shear. And he was so good. He ran violent. He was 2 years younger than me. But he was going to go to he was going to Miami of Ohio to play football. And the summer, right before his season's going to start, I'm sure he went out young, living in a frat house, or not a frat house, but a house on campus. And I think he got a little intoxicated and was smoking a cigarette or something and fell asleep, and the house caught on fire. And those college houses, they go up in flames real quick. But he died in the fire. I don't even know if he woke up, but I remember I got that phone call saying, David Shear died. I go, shut up. If you was going to tell me one guy, because I don't think my high schools, we might have had 3 guys go to the NFL in the history of my school, and I think one was a punter. It's just not it's not a athletic powerhouse at all. But if you was going to ask me one guy that could have made it to the league, I was like, David Shear. That guy he was so good. And when he died, I was like, no way. That crushed me. But that's what All the Right Moves reminded me of, man. It shows you how a coach can really dictate if a college is going to mess with you or not, because Craig T. Nelson does some dirty shit to Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise gets kicked off the team, and he's trying to win his way back. And it's just I'm telling you. I remember a couple weeks ago I was talking about Warrior and how that's the best UFC movie. A lot of people are going to say Any Given Sunday. A lot of people are going to say Remember the Titans. But to me, All the Right Moves is the best high school football movie. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good movie. Obviously, this episode is going to be sports heavy because there were so many sporting events that went on this week. I was watching the UFC fights. It's weird. Like, I can't stand it when you got a big UFC fight and a big boxing match. You had Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. At the same time, you had a UFC fight. You had Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje, and you had oh my God, there was so many good fights on, and I was like, how can I watch them both? So I just happened to be off this weekend, so I went to this place called Bombshells. It's almost like Hooters, but better. It's what Hooters was supposed to be, I think. So they took Hooters all about the breast, and Bombshells all about almost like Daisy Dukes. But they had both the fights, and I just remember the girl thought I was being sarcastic when I was calling around. So I was like, "Is there anywhere I can watch both fights?" And everyone I talked to, all my friends that live in the area, they was getting one or the other. They weren't getting both. And I'm one. When a sporting event's on, I lock in. I don't want to entertain anything like that. A lot of times I watch Super Bowls by myself because I like to hear the announcers and all that stuff. And so I was like, where can I watch both fights? So I remember I was calling around, and my buddy was like, yo, I'm going to go to Bombshells, meet me over there. I said, all right. I said, they getting both? He said, yeah. So I called just to triple check that they were getting both. So I called, and the girl goes, yeah. Oh, by the way, it's a $10 cover. I said, that's a great price. And she goes, uh-huh. I think she thought I was being sarcastic, but I was being dead serious. I was like, that's a great price. $10 is a great price to watch both fights. But the way the girl on the phone, she goes, uh-huh. I was like, and here's the bad part. It's a $10 cover. Motherfuckers complaining. I'm in line. First of all, I just got in line and paid. And then people was like, hey, what you doing here, man? They making you pay? I was like, it's $10. And then I sat outside so I could have a cigar with my buddy while we watched the fights. And that line got so long, some people didn't want to pay. They just stood outside and watched the fight because you could see the fights on the outdoor patio area. Instead of paying the $10, they just stood out there. And shouts out to Bombshells because they were serving those dudes. It was like basically F it. You might not have paid to get in, but if you want to sit there and watch the fights, we might make some money off of you. That where I was sitting, it's like this picnic table. The ledge behind me was so full of wings and beer. I look back, I go, oh my God. They were just, and the waitress, she didn't give a shit. She was taking her order right over me. Just what you want. And it was like cash only. I was like, dude, they ain't missing $1 at that Bombshells. It was in Pearland. I thought it was Pearland, but it's Pearland, Texas. That's where I saw it. But they weren't missing it. Shouts out to the Bombshells in Pearland, Texas. They wasn't missing $1 last week. They was going to make sure they getting all the money. But, I mean, between the UFC fight and then the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, did anybody see that coming? That domination by Terrence Crawford? And now you got to have the discussion. I never thought I'd see anybody with a more dominating career than Floyd Mayweather. If you look at Mayweather's career, he never was really in trouble his whole career. He never really got knocked down or really got hurt. He got stunned a couple times. I would call it, he got buzzed. Buzz is when you're like, your legs go loose a little bit, and you could tell when a guy wobbles a little bit when he's, it's a weird motion. You can tell when somebody's stunned, buzzed. Floyd got buzzed a couple times. Mosley buzzed him, a couple other times, but not a lot. You never thought Floyd was like in trouble. Same with Terrence Crawford. I've never thought he's ever been in trouble in a fight. He's gotten stung a couple times. He got knocked down, but it's kind of an awkward knockdown. But here's the thing. Charlemagne on The Breakfast Club, you need to stop picking fights. He had Terrence Crawford on The Breakfast Club, said to his face, Errol Spence is too big. He's going to get you. And if you watch the interview, Buzz just like, nah, I'm good. He's the boogeyman. He's the one. And then here's the thing about Charlemagne. He doesn't mind telling you his opinion to your face. But it reminded me of when he had Tyson Fury on when he was going to get ready to fight Deontay Wilder. He said to Tyson Fury, he goes, yeah, Deontay's going to beat you. No doubt. I'm picking Deontay. So if you want to make some money in Vegas, next time there's a big fight, whoever the Breakfast Club has on, and if Charlemagne is looking at that guy's face and being like, that guy's going to beat you, make sure you bet on the guy that's on the Breakfast Club, because Charlemagne does not know how to pick fights. You want to know who does? If you ever want to know, go to Naeem Lynn. Naeem opens up for Kevin Hart a lot. And I tell you, I follow him on social media, and he's a huge fight fan. Naeem be picking the fights accurate a lot. So if you want to make some money on boxing, not UFC, but boxing, pick whoever Charlemagne picks, pick against them, and kind of glance by Naeem Lynn's page and see who he's picking, because he picks them right a lot. But I really think we got to have that discussion, because what's Crawford now? I think he's 40-0. Is he 40 or 41-0? Let me see. I want to make sure. I don't want to give some wrong record. He is. He is. What's his record right now? 40. He is 40-0. 31 knockouts. Never been close to getting hurt, really. I think Floyd was 50-0. So, I mean, he could catch Floyd's record, surpass it. He'd have to fight 2 or 3 times. He'd have to fight a lot in the next couple of years. But, yeah, he'd be in the discussion. I think Floyd's pound for pound the best ever, but I think Terrence Crawford is a close second. And here's the thing. He was in the ring talking shit to one of the Charlo brothers. When Spence went down, he was like, you next. It reminded me when Floyd was boxing years ago, and they was talking about the Super Bowl, and Floyd was like, pick the Patriots. In the middle of the fight, he looked over at the announcer and goes, pick the Patriots. When you're that locked in, that you just know your skills and know nobody can compete with you, I mean, God, I'm anxious to see what people think. Because now you got this discussion. We can't be a prisoner of the moment and forget how good Mayweather was. But that will be the fight. I'm telling you, if it was Mayweather or Crawford, you're looking at 2 guys that never really been hurt. dominated their whole career. And every time somebody stepped up and thought it was going to be a super fight, it was all right. Like the De La Hoya fight was the closest Floyd ever came to losing. And Crawford was down against Porter and then ended up knocking him out. And it's an amazing sequence. It's like getting ready to start round 10, and his corner said it's close, and they said, yeah, Porter might be up. And he looked over, and Crawford's like, how? Really? And he goes out and knocks him down, then knocks him out immediately in that round, like within the first minute. It's like some Rocky-type shit. So, yeah, I'm anxious to see what you guys think. Mayweather or Crawford. He keeps winning. He might get to 50-0, and then we got to have that discussion, who's better. Since we're on this sports theme, this episode, something I didn't get addressed last week because Ollie was here, but I was watching this video of Patrick Mahomes. He was playing like a celebrity golf tournament, and this kid was asking him to sign something for an autograph right in the middle of him playing golf. And Mahomes was polite. He goes, I can or something. And the dad was like, yeah, you could do it. You could sign it. And he goes, it's something like Mahomes is like, yeah, but if I sign his, I got to sign 100. And the guy goes, no, you just got to sign one. He goes, you're just breaking one kid's heart. And then Mahomes is like, yeah, but then I'd be breaking 99 kids' hearts if I signed his and not everybody else's. And the dad was just being a dick. And I was just like, here's the thing. There's a time and a place for everything. And I'll just put it, man fans are the worst. They are the worst, man fans. These are the autograph seekers, and then they get guys at the worst. Everything is about timing. Everything's about time. When I hear people say some people is, oh, he's a dick, I go, well, how'd you meet him? Where'd you meet him? It's funny that they said Patrick Mahomes because I was working out at the gym, and right after the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl, somebody said they saw Patrick Mahomes in Vegas with the team, and they were partying. So this was 3 or 4 years ago. And they said, yeah, he was kind of a dick. And I told the guy, why would you say that? And he goes, because I went up to him, and I was trying to talk to him and get a picture, and he was like, nah. And I go, dude, you were a man fan. He goes, huh? I go, dude, he's there in Vegas partying with his team. He goes, he doesn't need another guy friend that he doesn't know. And if he's at a club, he ain't trying to entertain a dude. Like, what do you bring to the table? And he goes, oh. And to the guy's credit I was talking to, he like agreed with me at the end of the conversation. I didn't come at him like, dude, you're an idiot. I just went, hey, man, think about it. Think about him. He just won the Super Bowl. He's one of the most popular athletes on earth right now. And when you win a Super Bowl, especially the quarterback, you're top of the food chain. So everywhere you go, people are coming at you. So now you're in Vegas. You're trying to let loose with your boys. And you got a guy getting in the middle of their circle. And it's one thing to just be having drinks and talking to him. But the minute you ask for a picture or hold the conversation too long, turns people off. And the guy was like, oh, I see it. It's weird because sometimes you have sports discussions with people, and it's hard to change people's minds. Like, when you have the LeBron, Michael Jordan conversation, I've never seen anybody change their mind in the middle of the conversation. That's why when people ask me who's better, LeBron or Jordan, I'm like, this is a pointless conversation. Because if you say Jordan, I say LeBron, neither of us are going to change each other's minds. We're just going to be like, well, he got 6-0. He's been to more titles. He's got more points. He's got more defensive players of the year. We're just going to keep like, it's like we're playing cards and we each got aces. Well, he did this. Well, he did this. Well, he did this. He did this. Nobody's ever going to win an argument. So it's so pointless to have those arguments. And it's so funny that I just said that because I'm sitting here going, who do you think would win, Crawford or Mayweather? But yeah, man fans, man, they are the worst, especially dads like that come in and you gave Mahomes a guilt trip for not signing your son's whatever in the middle of him playing a celebrity golf outing. He's playing golf to relax, you know. You can ask, and he can politely say no. And Mahomes was polite when he said no, and the dad just didn't want to let it go. And I guarantee the dad's on social media. And I saw it because of it, and then when I really saw it, I go, Mahomes wasn't being a dick. He was being polite. It was the dad that was an asshole. So, yeah, it's usually dudes that do that too when you're out. It's like, why are you in this circle all of a sudden? Ain't nobody trying to have you near us? And then, most of the guys, when they, man fans are a lot like this. They'll be like this. Hey, Gary, you know, let's just throw a name out there. You know Joe Burrow? Yo, Joe Burrow, my cousin's friend dates his sister. What? Yeah. My cousin's friend dates his sister. You're like, oh, I have no idea how that relates to you or me at this point. Yeah, I met him once at the barbershop. Yeah, he said hi. Yeah, so, yeah. I had a guy that did me. I think the funniest when it comes to this stuff is like when people try to explain how they know somebody. It's almost like they know somebody famous and they really don't. I was out one time and I might have told this story before. I don't know. It was so funny, though. I was out with my ex-wife. We just got to Cincinnati, and this guy came up. He goes, hey, what's up, man? Gary, man. He goes, I'm a big fan of yours. He goes, yeah, I do the rap thing. I was like, oh, for real? And he goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, I'm working with Shaq right now. And I was like, oh, for real? Not knowing my ex-wife used to work for Shaq. I said, I'm going to call him, man. What's your name? He's like, oh, shoot, did I say Shaq? I meant Snoop. Didn't miss a beat. Like, he just went from Shaq to Snoop. I was like, oh my God, this guy's an amazing liar. Didn't even like skip a beat when I brought that up. So it's just funny how people want to be associated with people, want to be associated with somebody famous so bad. And then you see those people that they finally do meet somebody quote unquote famous, and then you become an asshole to them, like the Mahomes guy. I was like, ugh, this shit bothers me. I don't know why it bothers me so much, because I think we've all been there. If you're in this entertainment business, whether you're an athlete, comedian, or actor, it's just like we always say that. We go, man, fans are they don't. Oh, a lot of people, they like to touch it too. A lot of people like to touch it. I'm like, oh, I'll say hi to everybody, but sometimes I just don't want to be touched. But I think I didn't get to touch on this last week when Ali was here. But one thing that was interesting to me was this Carlee Russell case. I think we all knew it was kind of BS. It just wasn't adding up, the whole thing. She was missing for like 2 days, and then she just showed up. And then her parents just, I felt so bad for them. They got to defend their daughter. And they were just like, oh, this is a ship. I've seen this movie, and it ends the same every time. The Titanic sinks. But here's the thing. Now her boyfriend, I read on social media, her boyfriend, well, now her ex-boyfriend, is literally having a party in Atlanta, and it says, hold on, I got the flyer here. Search and Rescue, Rewind Thursdays. Thursday, August 3rd, 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Revel, I've been to Revel in Atlanta, and the ex-boyfriend is coming to Atlanta to find love. The promoter claims that Thomas is done with Carlee and asks women to come to the club and meet the man that held her down. You got to be shitting me right now. Hold on, look. So Carlee Russell boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, he's coming to Atlanta. It's coming there tonight to Revel nightclub. Been there numerous times. Great nightclub. So he's saying, are you willing to be with a man that'll hold you down even when you're a criminal? Well, the answer is yes. Ladies, make your way to Club Revel and go get your man. So Thomas Latrell Simmons, the boyfriend of Carlee, is going to be there on Thursday, and the flyer is hysterical. Search and rescue. According to this, Thomas being looking to find the promoter claims that Thomas is done with Carlee and asks women to come. And Carlee, she's out on bail. She faces charges of lying to police. One of the greatest mugshots I've ever seen in the history of mugshots, by the way. Shouts out to Carlee. Throughout Thomas held her down, never told police or the media that he suspected she was lying about the incident. And the rumor is he snuck her out of town with her side dude and still didn't turn on his bae. And then he started asking people to forgive Carlee and asked them to stop bullying her. Here's the thing. When you can't stand on your own 2 feet with your own name, you need somebody else's name, that says a lot about you. So he can't just say, I'm going to have a party. He's got to be like the ex-boyfriend of Carlee Simmons. I'm sorry, the ex-boyfriend of Carlee Russell. My fault. So I can't wait till Friday to see videos and pictures of this party. It's a little disgusting, actually, that, I mean, throughout the whole ordeal, this guy's been making posts on social media, and fame can be so intoxicating no matter how you get it. Whether you commit a crime, whether you a comedian, rapping, singing, athletes. You always hear that. Are you married? Are you in love with the fame or the game? And that doesn't mean sports. I love stand up. Ain't nothing wrong being famous. There's perks to it that I really like. I ain't gonna lie. I like that I don't have to wait in line a lot of times if I go to places. I like the fact that I can. My manager or publicist can make a phone call to a restaurant and they'll get me a table. I mean, there's benefits. It's great. But if you ask me what I like the most, it's just making people laugh. It's not the fame part. But clearly this guy has got a little taste of fame and he's running with it. And, he's probably going to get laid Thursday night because of her. I remember I was out one night and not going to say no names, but this guy was with a very, very high-profile woman, and we were out in Denver one night, and it was like he was just coming off the breakup, and I had never seen so many women throw themselves at this dude. And I was like, oh, it's because they want to be with the guy that was with this A-list person. And I was in awe of how many women was coming at him. I just felt, this is like 20 years ago, I just fell back and was like, whoa, this dude is getting so much puss. So there's not a doubt there's people that are going to sleep with this dude just because he was Carlee Russell's boyfriend. So he clearly is at that moment in his life where he's getting fame that he never had and attention he's never had, and he's running with it. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy does parties all over the country. Mark my words, this summer, we got the rest of August. It ain't just going to stop in Atlanta. He's not going to find love Thursday night. He's going to pop up in New York. He's going to pop up in Meridian, Mississippi, Birmingham, Tampa, Orlando, Miami. He's going to be all over looking for love. If this ends up being packed and it's somewhat a success, oh yeah, this search and rescue flyer is going to be everywhere. So yeah, we'll post it on my page when we post this. But yeah, it's intoxicating though. If you've never had it, a little bit of fame, yeah. There was when I was I remember a girl I went to high school with. She was on Survivor one year. And my small town, they made a huge deal about her being on Survivor. She was in the paper and everything. And they did this big big watch party. When I tell you she got voted off week 1, we're watching it. And I'm going, oh, look at she's laying low. She's not really making waves. And all of a sudden, about 30 minutes in, they start talking about her. I went, wait. And all of a sudden, you can always, the way they edit it, you could tell who's the two that they're going to get all the votes. There's always 2 of them. And all of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute, there's no way. All of a sudden, she was just gone week 1. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I guess in Survivor, you can't tell anybody if you're on the show when you get voted off. So she couldn't tell us. So we're sitting here. We got like a couple hundred people, and I went to support because I was friends with her brother. And all of a sudden, I looked around. I go, there's no way. And I asked her brother, I said, you know? He goes, no, nobody knew. So we're all just in awe going, week 1? There's like 16 contestants. You got week 1? I was just in shock. And it was such a big deal. And I was just like, what are the chances? Guarantee you, this is not the only club this dude goes to. What's his name? I don't even know his name. I'm sitting there calling him Carlee Russell's boyfriend. Guarantee you, I don't know, it's Thomas Latrell Simmons. I don't know, he's got 3 names. Yeah, this will not be the only club appearance he does because she got arrested. Good. It was that thing was so obvious. It was so obvious that it was fake. Like some things people announce and you're just going, we knew that. When the police made the big thing about we couldn't find this, we couldn't find this, we couldn't find this, I was like, we couldn't find this. And before they officially announced it was a hoax, I'd never seen a police press conference where they basically called her a liar without calling her a liar. Yeah, we found no evidence that, she was kidnapped. We found no evidence of there was other people involved. We found no evidence of a kid walking down the street. We didn't find no evidence of nothing. So we found her internet search. She was looking for the movie Taken. She was looking at everything that you could look at as how old you got to be to have an Amber Alert. So, honestly, she was looking for fame too. So I can't even just knock her boyfriend. This was two people both intoxicated by fame. Because if you ask Carlee Russell right now, knowing she's probably going to do a little bit of time, not a lot, she'd probably be like, yeah, I'll do it over again. I'm somewhat famous now. So it's almost like when every couple of weeks you get on social media and they'll announce there's rumors of somebody being gay. And in the entertainment business, we kind of know who's gay and who's not. It's not a big deal. But it's funny when people make these announcements. I'll never forget when Rosie O'Donnell made the announcement that she's gay. And I was going, yeah, we all knew that. The announcement, the surprise would have been she's straight. I never forget when she made the big announcement on the show. She's like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. I was like, yeah, we kind of knew that. I go, oh, that's not a surprise announcement. The surprise announcement would have been, I'm straight. I'm just going, it's just funny to me. Like go to Media Takeout, go to World Star Hip Hop, go to Boss Up, go to Radar Online, go to Hollywood Unlocked. Every couple weeks they're gonna do something and watch. They'll announce somebody's rumored to be gay. Every couple weeks, it never fails. And I'm just going, not all of them, but a lot of them were like, yeah, I knew that. But why is that news? I guess in our world it's not. We all know those people that go both ways. Just like, who gives a shit, honestly? But I was noticing that every couple weeks, these social media sites, they'll make the big thing like, oh, just like when Ellen came out. I was like, yeah, we kind of knew that too. I mean, some things are kind of obvious. It's like, nobody really cares. Like I said, the surprise announcements would be straight, not gay. So, all right, enough on that. Well, like I said, this weekend I'm back in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sorry to everybody that I canceled a couple weeks ago, but I am back tonight, Friday and Saturday at Helium Comedy Club. And did I have any other? Hopefully nobody else gets hurt on the Bengals. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I got this week. So all right, y'all. This is Gary Owen with the Get Some. Oh, I know what I forgot. I know I'm getting old because I got a colonoscopy this week. I don't know if anyone's ever had that done. That was some of the best sleep I ever got. When they put the anesthesia in you, because I went down immediately and woke up and I felt so rested. Here's the bad part. I got to do it again because I did everything they said. I drank that big jug of water with the powder in it, and then I did everything. I didn't eat, drank clear liquids. 24 hours prior, after midnight, my procedure was at 11. After midnight, I ate nothing. And then I went in, and the doctor was like, yeah, you wasn't completely clean. I go, damn, how nasty was my colon? So I got to do it again, but now I got to do a 2-day fast. So that's going to be next week. So I thought I was out of the woods. I was like, all right. Did cut 8 pounds. I guess that's good. I'm sure I gained it all back, but that's the one thing I noticed. I was like, oh, it's a good way to cut weight. So I got to do it again. So, oh my God, dude. You got to be kidding me. So now I got to do a 48-hour fast and not a 24-hour fast. I'm like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm getting it done next week. So I'm in Philly this weekend. So, yeah, I'm going to have a couple cheesesteaks this weekend in Philly because I know it's all going to come out anyways. Because as soon as I get back from Philly, I can't eat for 2 days. And I got to get another colonoscopy. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. I just kept thinking, how foul was my colon that I could? The doctor was like, yeah, this wasn't clean like that. I'm like, and let me tell you the most embarrassing thing. I go in, then he goes, so you did everything? I was like, yeah. And then she goes, well, this morning when you had your last release, aka take a shit, was it clear? Could you see the bottom of the toilet? I go, I think so. I didn't really look at it like that. I think it was a little murky, like, and she goes, ooh, I don't know if we can do it then. So she goes, if you can go before you leave, we can look at it. And I go, huh? She goes, see if you can have another release, aka take a dump, and then we'll look at it. So I had to go in the bathroom, and luckily I got a release. So I released, took a very, very watery shit, basically. I had 3 nurses looking in the toilet at my shit. So I'm sitting there like, this is unbelievable. And they're like, one girl's like, I don't know. And the girl goes, yeah, he's good. The other girl's like, yeah, I think he's fine. And I was like, okay, this is disgusting. And then I flushed, and then come to find out I wasn't fine. The doctor said it wasn't clear like he thought. So I got to do it all again. So it's weird because you go under, and then they gave you the IV, and I got to lay on my side, so my booty's out, and you just kind of pass out, and then you wake up, and it's over with, and it was like an amazing nap, and then I was like, oh my God, they was in my butt. It's weird how I had Ali on last week talking about prisons. This podcast I talked about prisons a lot, and I had a camera in my butt this week, so I don't know what the theme was of this show, but that's what it is. So hopefully next week I'll be all clear, and I'm just being safe about my prostate. Anyways, so that's how we'll end this show. That's a good way to go. Yeah, we don't give a shit, literally. All right, y'all. This is Gary Owen with the Get Some Podcast.